And a long time ago, like
Yeah.
another life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you regret any of it?
No. Don't regret really anything, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hi, hello. And
Do you have
he said-
writers who think of these things, or do you just have them ready and you can just
Yeah.
snap them right out
Yeah.
like that?
We have writers home.
And what give me the lead into the commercial? Actually, I don't think the audience at home cares what we're looking at. I mean, they're more interested in what we
Well,
think.
I want to know what's looking at me, really. You know,
Yeah.
I like to check it.
George Harrison, the so-called quiet Beatle, was known for his spiritual depth, musical innovation, and brutal honesty. Despite his often reserved public persona, Harrison had no trouble voicing his opinions, especially when it came to musicians he didn't respect. Unlike his Beatles bandmates, Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr, who typically played the diplomat, Harrison was straightforward and unafraid to criticize artists when he felt their work was lacking. His critiques were often sharp and unflinching, revealing his deep commitment to authenticity in music. From dismissing Neil Young's guitar, playing as amateurish, to calling Oasis lacking depth, Harrison made it clear that he had high standards when it came to music. In this script, we'll dive into the musicians George Harrison disliked the most and explore the reasons behind his candid critiques.
Is this confusing you a little bit,
It
this
is,
setup?
all these cameras. Don't know which one I'm supposed to be looking at.
Must be exciting
Yeah,
for you to
that's-
be next to a famous person
It
on
is, it's
television.
very exciting. I don't do this every night, you know.
No, I do, unfortunately. No, you're probably wondering what we were looking at. George saw the lights go on over the cameras, which...
Neil Young is often regarded as one of the most influential figures in rock music, with a style that combines folk, rock, and a distinctive guitar sound. However, for George Harrison, Young's approach to music didn't sit well. During a 1992 conversation with Bob Goff, Harrison expressed his disdain for Young's music, saying bluntly, "I hate it. I can't stand it." Harrison wasn't shy about going into specifics either. He criticized Young's guitar playing, dismissing it as amateurish and unrefined. In fact, Harrison and fellow guitarist Eric Clapton once shared a moment of disbelief during a performance when Young played a guitar solo that Harrison found baffling. The two exchanged looks that seemed to say it all, with Harrison later recalling how he and Clapton were utterly confused by Young's chaotic and unskilled style.
Give me the lead into the commercial. Actually, I don't think the audience at home cares what we're looking at. I mean, they're more interested in what we
Well, I
think.
want to know what's looking at me, really. You know, I
Yeah.
like to check it out. There he is.
You don't have to. They always say you don't have to worry about what camera's on; that they'll find you.
Yes.
That's how I.
Big brother is watching you.
Whatever. Yoko sat in that very chair.
Well, I bet many people have sat in this.
Well, a lot of
car.
people have sat in it, but I was just
I
thinking.
saw the show. It was very nice. Very
Did you
nice.
see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was one.
Harrison's criticism didn't stop at just the guitar playing. He singled out Young's track Around the World, calling it rubbish. It's clear that Harrison found Young's music abrasive, raw, and to him, lacking the melodic craftsmanship that the Beatles were known for. This critique of Young highlights a broader debate in the music world. Some admire Young's raw, emotional style, while others, like Harrison, find it unpolished and unappealing. Despite the harshness of Harrison's remarks, Young never retaliated, instead continuing to express his admiration for the Beatles. His respectful stance only deepened the divide between the two musicians, leaving Harrison's critique to stand as a testament to his uncompromising standards of musicality.
One thing they forgot to plug, so I thought I'd plug it for them, and that's their new Christmas record. We wish you Merry Christmas, war is over. Get yours now. Thank you.
Is there such a record?
Yes, he made it after he was on the show, so he didn't get a chance to talk about it.
Is there a slight undercurrent of hostility between you and
No,
other members of
really,
your group? No, you can
John,
tell me. I
you
mean,
know-
I wouldn't. I'm not going to tell anybody.
No, I just thought I'd take the opportunity and promote his record for him.
Oasis, the British rock band that rose to fame in the 1990s, was heavily influenced by the Beatles, with frontman Noel Gallagher often citing them as his primary inspiration. However, for George Harrison, the admiration was not mutual. In 1996, at the height of Oasis's popularity, Harrison voiced his criticism of the band, particularly their lead singer, Liam Gallagher. Harrison's remarks were blunt. He dismissed Oasis's music as lacking depth and took aim at Liam, calling him a pain. Harrison's criticism didn't end there. He went on to say that the rest of the band didn't mean anything. Harrison's sharp words were especially significant, given that Oasis was often compared to the Beatles due to their massive popularity, strong melodies, and outspoken attitude. But to Harrison, these qualities were superficial, and he found little of the artistic depth or complexity that he valued in music. His comment about Liam Gallagher being a pain reflects Harrison's belief that the band's persona, particularly Liam's confrontational nature, overshadowed any musical merit they might have had.
War is over if you want it. Happy Christmas.
Yeah. And,
Apple Records.
well, are you in any sense in contact with each other? I mean,
Yeah, I saw him last night, actually, at the premiere of Raga, which
What?
is what we should talk about, maybe.
Okay. But I mean, what did you say? to
I
each
said,
other?
Liam Gallagher, known for his hot-headed temperament, didn't take the criticism lightly. In typical Gallagher fashion, Liam reportedly threatened to sock Harrison, cementing the animosity between them. Harrison's critique wasn't just a personal attack. It reflected a larger sentiment among classic rock veterans who saw Oasis as derivative, borrowing heavily from their predecessors without adding anything new. Harrison's dismissal of Oasis underscores the divide between the older generation of musicians who pioneered rock music and the brash newcomers who sought to inherit their legacy.
hi, hello. And
Do you
he
have
said,
writers who think of these things, or do you
Yeah,
just
yeah.
have them ready and you can just
Yeah,
snap them right out
yeah.
like that?
We have writers home,
And what-
rooms full of them,
What did he come back with right away?
with hi.
Yeah? Gee, this ought to be. Was there more, or did that
Well,
just go
no.
on? That's pretty
You've
good.
got real boring people, you know, to talk to on your show. I'm probably
Yeah.
the biggest bore you've ever had on the show.
Really? You think?
Elton John, one of the most successful and beloved musicians of the 20th century, was not immune to Harrison's brutally honest critiques. While Harrison acknowledged John's immense success and talent, he didn't mince words when it came to his music. In a 1976 interview with India Today, Harrison stated that he didn't personally connect with John's work, describing it as formulaic and repetitive. Harrison found John's songs to be predictable, relying too heavily on familiar formulas rather than offering something truly innovative. Harrison, who had always sought to push musical boundaries with the Beatles and in his solo career, had a deep respect for artists who challenged musical conventions. His own work, particularly on albums like All Things Must Pass, was driven by a desire to create music with emotional and spiritual depth. In contrast, Harrison saw Elton John's music as lacking that same sense of artistic growth. He favored the raw authenticity of early rock and roll pioneers like Chuck Berry, Little Richard, and Carl Perkins, whose work shaped the Beatles' sound and whose spirit of musical evolution he admired. However, it's important to note that Harrison's critique was not born from personal animosity. He simply didn't resonate with the commercial pop rock style that Elton John embodied. Despite their differences, Harrison and John maintained a cordial relationship over the years, with John continuing to express his admiration for the Beatles. For Harrison, the issue wasn't with John as a person, but with the direction of his music, which he felt lacked the artistic depth and authenticity he valued so highly.
You mean that's it? When we're done talking about that, then...
Then I go.
Yeah. You don't like to talk then?
Well, not really. Sometimes if there's something to say, but there's really nothing to say these days.
The Hollies, another British band from the same era as the Beatles, had a reputation for their impeccable vocal harmonies and polished pop sound. But for George Harrison, the Hollies were a target of his scorn, particularly when it came to their 1965 cover of his song, "If I Needed Someone." Harrison took offense to the cover, feeling that the Hollies had misunderstood the song and mishandled it in a way that didn't honor its original intent. In an interview with New Musical Express, Harrison didn't hold back, stating that the Hollies' version of the song was rubbish and that they had spoiled it. His irritation was not limited to just this one track. He criticized the band's overall approach to music, suggesting that they lacked the organic chemistry that the Beatles had carefully cultivated. Harrison famously remarked that the Hollies sounded like session men who just got together in a studio without ever seeing each other, implying that their music felt disconnected and lacked the genuine collaboration that made the Beatles great.
If you and John and Yoko do meet, though, you're not really gritting your teeth.
No, we're good friends.
Yeah. Well, all of that about her being the problem with the group, is that slightly silly that one woman could be so much of a problem?
No, the group had problems long before Yoko came along. Many problems, folks.
This critique of the Hollies was particularly cutting because both bands hailed from the same region and had similar musical roots. However, their artistic trajectories were vastly different. While the Beatles were experimenting and pushing boundaries, the Hollies remained rooted in a more traditional pop sound. Harrison's dismissal of the Hollies reflected his belief that music should be more than just catchy tunes. It should be an expression of something deeper, something real. Disco, which exploded in popularity during the late 1970s, was one of the musical movements that George Harrison had little time for, as the genre became synonymous with artists like the Bee Gees. Harrison's distaste for disco was well known. He viewed disco as overly commercialized and lacking the artistic depth that he valued in music. To Harrison, the Bee Gees' rise to fame during the disco era represented everything that was wrong with the direction popular music was taking. Harrison had always sought authenticity in his music, whether through his solo work or with the Beatles, and he found disco to be overly manufactured, focused more on creating radio-friendly hits than conveying genuine emotion or personal exploration. The Bee Gees, who had started their career as a soft rock group but transitioned into disco superstars.
Can you remember who was the first to say, I bet we'll break up one day, that this won't go on, that this is sort of a dream, that we can't all stick together?
I don't really remember anything about the Beatle days. It seems like a sort of, previous incarnation when I think about it.
Became the poster children for the genre's excesses. Songs like Stayin' Alive and Night Fever dominated the charts. But to Harrison, they symbolized everything that was wrong with popular music at the time. Style over substance. For Harrison, music had to be more than just entertainment. It had to reflect something deeper, whether it was a personal struggle, a spiritual revelation, or a new way of thinking about the world. The Bee Gees' disco sound, with its repetitive beats and falsetto vocals, didn't align with his values as an artist. Though the Bee Gees were undeniably talented and successful, Harrison's critique of their disco output was a clear indication of his broader skepticism toward the commercialization of music. He believed that music should evolve and challenge both the artist and the listener, something he felt disco failed to do.
And a long time ago, another life.
Yeah.
Do you regret any of it?
No. don't regret really anything, you know. I mean, that's what happened, and it was good, you know, it was good, but it was also good to carry on, do something else. In fact, it was a relief.
Sometimes they say you
I
were...
mean, some people can't understand that, you know, because Beatles was such a big deal.
George Harrison's critiques of musicians were never meant to tear down, but rather to highlight his unwavering commitment to artistic integrity and authenticity in music. From his sharp dismissal of Neil Young's guitar, playing to his distaste for Oasis's lack of depth, Harrison made it clear that he held musicians to high standards. His thoughts on Elton John, the Hollies, and the Bee Gees reflect his belief that music should evolve and challenge listeners, not just cater to commercial interests. While his honesty may have ruffled feathers, it also showcased the very qualities that made Harrison one of the most respected musicians of his time. Whether you agree with his assessments or not, there's no denying that Harrison's approach to music was as deeply personal as it was uncompromising. In the end, Harrison's legacy isn't just about the Beatles. It's also about his pursuit of authenticity in every note he played.